הנה מה טוב ומנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. We started with those words that feel very special this morning, how good and how pleasant it is when we can all be together. And it feels so special because we were meant to all be together quite a long time ago, but somebody had to go and get COVID. And so what a joy it is that we are able to celebrate with Raquel now and be together now. And that we're able to bring your family in from South Africa. What a joy to have everybody there. So the people on the screen can't see you at the moment, but you can see them. Oh, and Adam is going to make it possible that all of you can be seen as well. So we're going to ask you all to look over there at that camera and just give everyone at home a wave. And everyone at home, if you just put your cameras on for just a moment and give everybody in this room a wave too, so that we can all come together as one community. And we thank everyone at home for also being patient with us as South African mean time meant that we are obviously beginning 11 minutes late. I learned that from my parents-in-law, who are also South African, so I feel like I was initiated in. So we're going to start our service on page 3 of your special booklets. If you want to follow along in our service at home, you can download the booklet from the ALIS website. Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov mishkanotecha Yisrael. Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov mishkanotecha Yisrael. Va'ani barov chastecha avo veitecha eshtacha ve'ehel kodshecha b'yiratecha Adonai ahavti ma'on beitecha u'makom miskan kavodecha va'ani eshtacha ve'echra'a evracha lifnei Adonai osi va'ani tefilati lecha Adonai et ratzon Elohim barov chasdecha aneni be'emet yishecha. And we continue by waking up with one another with our morning blessings on page 4. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani b'tzelem Elohim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'lo asani nochriya. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'lo asani shivcha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asa li kol tzorki. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam pokeach ivrim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam mabish arumim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam matir hasurim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam zokev kefufim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamechin mitzadei gaver. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam ozer Yisrael bigvura. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam ozer Yisrael b'tifara. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hanoten le'yayef koach. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, melech ha'olam, hama'avir sheina me'enai, utnuma me'hafapai. Having turned this space into our sanctuary for this morning and woken ourselves up with our morning blessings, we invite God to be amongst us. Adonai melech, Adonai malach, Adonai imloch, leolam va'ed. V'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz. Bayom hahu yihye Adonai echad u'shemo echad. Hoshienu Adonai Eloheinu, lehodot l'shem kodshecha, lehishtabeach b'tehilatecha. Baruch Adonai Elohei Yisrael, min ha'olam v'yad ha'olam, v'amar kol ha'am amen. Hallelujah. Kol ha'neshama tehalleluya. Hallelujah. And we turn to our psalm for the Shabbat day on page 7. Mizmoshi leyom hashabbat, tov lehodot l'Adonai. Mizmoshi leyom hashabbat, tov lehodot l'Adonai. Uzamer l'shimcha elyon, uzamer l'shimcha elyon, lahagid b'boker chesdecha, ve'emunatecha b'leilot. Ale asov ale navel, ale higayom bechinor, ki simachtani Adonai b'fo alecha, b'maaseh yadecha aranein, ma gadlu maasecha Adonai, ma'od amkum mechshavotecha, ish ba'al lo yeda, uchsil lo yavin et zot, bifrach risha'im kamo esav, v'yatzitzu kol po'ele aven, lihisham dam ade ad, va'ata marom le'olam Adonai, ki hine oivecha Adonai, ki hine oivecha yovedu, yitpardu kol po'ele aven, v'tar em kir em karni beloti b'shemen ra'anan, v'tabet eni b'shurai, v'kamim alai meri'im, tishmana oznai. Tzadik atama yifrach, ka'eres bavanon yizgei, shtulim beveit Adonai, b'chasrot Eloheinu yafrichu, od yanuvun b'seva, Dashenim v'rananim yehiyu, lahagid ki yashar Adonai, zuri v'lo avlatabo, nishmat kol chai, tevarech et shimcha. Adonai Eloheinu, v'ruach kol basa, tefa'eru tromem, zichracha malkeinu tamid, min ha'olam ve'ad ha'olam. Ata el, ata el. Umi baladecha ein lanu melech, goel u'moshia podei u'matzil v'onei u'mrachem. B'chol eit tzara v'suka, ein lanu melech ozeh v'somech zulatecha, Elohei harishonim v'ha'acharonim, Eloah kol briot, Adon kol teladot, Hamehula b'chol hatishbachot, Hamenaher golamo b'chesed uvriotav b'rachamim, V'Adonai lo yanum v'lo yishan, Hameorer yishenim v'hamekirtz nirzamim, Mechaye metim v'rofeh cholim, Pokeach ivrim v'zokef kefufim, Lecha levadecha, Anachnu modim. Let's arise together as we call one another to prayer with the words of the Baruch Hu midway down page 10. Yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai. Yai, yai, lai, 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 lai. Yai, lai, 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 lai. Yai, lai, 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 lai. Yai, yai, lai, 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 lai. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Let's read together on page 11. I'm going to check that you're all awake by hearing your voices. Join in with my slightly hoarse one. Blessed are you, our living God, sovereign of the universe, who forms light yet creates darkness, who makes peace yet creates all. All things proclaim you, all things honor you, and all say none is holy like God, the one who gives light to all the world, and those who live in it, renews in goodness the work of creation day by day. God, how great are your works! You made them all in wisdom. The earth is full of your creatures. You are the only sovereign exalted from the beginning of time, who has been worshipped, praised, and glorified since days of old. Everlasting God, in your great mercy, have mercy upon us. Source of our strength, rock of our protection, shield of our safety, our true protector. Cause a new light to shine upon Zion, and may we all be worthy soon to enjoy its brightness. Blessed are you, God, who creates the lights of the universe. Ahava rabav tanu Adonai Eloheinu, chemla gadola v'yitera chamalta aleinu, avinu malkeinu ba'avor shimcha hagadol, uva'avor avotenu shabbat chuvach, v'talamdem chukei chayim la'asot ritzonecha belevav shalem, ken tochonenu, har eronenu b'toratecha, v'dabek libenu b'mitzvotecha, v'yached levavenu li'ahava u'liyira et shemecha, lema'an lo nevosh v'lo nikalem, ki el poel yeshuot ata, uvanu v'charta mikol am v'lashon, v'karavtanu malkeinu l'shimcha hagadol b'yahava, lehodot lecha, u'liyachedecha, u'la'ahava et shemecha, baruch ata Adonai, abocha b'yamo Yisrael b'yahava. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha, b'chol levavecha uv'chol nafshecha uv'chol me'odecha, v'hayu hadvarim ha'ela, asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha, v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam, v'shiftecha b'veitecha, uv'lachtecha v'derech, uv'shokbecha uv'kumecha, ukashartam leot al yadecha, v'hayu letotafot bein einecha, Uchatabtam al mezuzot beitecha, uvish arecha. We take a moment to read the second paragraph of the Shema to ourselves, joining together at the top of page 15. Vayomer Adonai el Moshe lemo daber el bnei Yisrael v'amata alehem v'asu lahem tzitzit al kanfei bigdeihem ledorotam v'natnu al tzitzit hakanaf petil techalat V'haya lachem letzitzit uritem oto uzachartem ekol mitzvot Adonai v'asitem otam v'lo tatiru acharei levavchem v'acharei einechem Asher atem zonim achareihem lama'an tizkaru va'asitem ekol mitzvotai v'hitem kadoshim lalohechem ani Adonai Elohechem Asher hotzeiti atchem me'eretz Mitzrayim Lehiyot lachem l'Elohim Ani Adonai Elohechem. When the Israelites escaped from Egypt, everyone expected that they would have spoken the same dialect, right? They came from Israel originally, they were from the same childhood, the same background, and then they went to Egypt, so they'd kind of grown up together in Egypt. But when we actually think about it, Egypt was a large place, and they lived in many, many different places throughout Egypt. So it's likely when they were standing on that shore of the sea that they didn't all have the same dialect, that they didn't all speak the same language, have the same songs in their hearts, and that really they came together as a people that felt quite foreign to one another. And that's often the case when we come together in shul as well. So many of us come here from Aleph. I see lots of familiar, lovely faces around the room. But many people also come from different places and don't know our dialect, don't know the way we sing, the way we talk. And so the song when we sing for Micha Mocha is that moment of coming together with one dialect, moment to bring us all together, which is why our favorite melody at Aleph has a call and response in it, where we call and you respond with the exact same word, because that way you sing the same melody as us, even if you don't know it. It's very easy. So as we move into Micha Mocha, we're going to come together, one community, all bound together by our love for Raquel, our want to celebrate with her today, and all with one voice, because even though we come from different places, even though we have different traditions in our hearts, we can all come together and stand on this shore, this brink of transition together. Stand with Raquel holding her hands metaphorically as she's about to take her steps into adulthood. So we come together with one voice in our hearts, one song together, as we call and respond to one another. Micha Mocha Bayalim Adonai Micha Mocha Nedar Bakodesh Micha Mocha Bayalim Adonai Micha Mocha Nedar Bakodesh Nora Tehilot Oseh Nora Tehilot Ose Salah Shira Chadasha Shibchu Gaulim Lashimcha Asfahatayam Yachat Kulam Hodu Vehimlichu Va'amaru Adonai Yimloch Leolam Vaed Adonai Yimloch Leolam Vaed Micha Mocha Bayalim Adonai Micha Mocha Nedar Bakodesh Sur Yisrael Kuma Be'ezrat Yisrael Go Aleinu Adonai Sevaot Shemo, Kadosh Yisrael, Baruch Atah Adonai, Ga'al Yisrael. We rise together for our standing prayer, our Amidah, on page 17. Ya la lai 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 Adonai. Ya la lai 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 Svatai Tiftach. Ya la lai 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 Yufi Yagid. Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha. Ya la lai 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 Adonai. Ya la lai 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 Svatai Tiftach. Ya la lai 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 Ufi Yagid. Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avoteinu v'Elohei Emoteinu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanorah El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim Konei HaKol V'zocheh chasei avot v'imahot Umevi go'el livnei v'neihem Lama'an shemo b'yahava Melech chozeh u'moshia u'magen Baruch atah Adonai Magen Avraham Porkei tzara Atah gibor le'olam Adonai Mechayei metim atah Rav lehoshia Mashiv haruach u'morit hagashem Mechakel chayim b'chesed Mechayim metim b'rachamim rabim Zohomech noflim v'rofech olim U'matir asurim Umekayem emunato lishanei afa Micha mocha ba'al gevurot umito melach Melech memit umechaye umatzmiach Yeshua V'ne'eman atah l'hachayot metim Baruch atah Adonai mechayei hametim Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh u'kadoshim b'chol yom yehallelu salah Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh We're going to continue with our Amidah individually, joining together to conclude it on the top of page 23. Ose shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru amen. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yahaseh shalom, Yahaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yahaseh shalom, Yahaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yahaseh shalom, Yahaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. So we are going to continue with Seder Kriyat HaTorah, our Torah service, which you will find on page 23. And at this point, we're going to knock over some stuff on the floor because I forgot to ask for another chair. And we are going to invite up Joel and Ariella to come and get our Torah scroll and undress it for us as we sing for you. Ki mitzion tetzei Torah, u'devar Adonai mirushalayim. 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 Baruch shenatan Torah le'amo, Torah le'amo Yisrael. Baruch shenatan Torah le'amo Yisrael. B'kedushato ki mitzion tetzei Torah, u'devar Adonai mirushalayim. Ki mitzion tetzei Torah, u'devar Adonai mirushalayim. And Joel is going to raise the Torah scroll up for us, showing us the bit that Raquel will be reading from. וזאת התורה אשר שם משה לפני בני ישראל. תורה ציוות לנו משה, מורשת קהילת יעקב. האל תמים דרכו, אמרת אדוני צרופה. מגן הוא לכל החוסים בו. יישר כוח.
Thank you.
And as we invite up Simone to come and stand with Joel, we invite you all to take your seats. It is always an honor for us to be able to call our young people up to Torah for the very first time to read for their community, their family, and their friends. But it feels especially an honor when a young person has their heart set on a particular date, gets all prepared, and then isn't able to do it at that moment, and then works hard and continues to persevere and is finally able to mark this transition for them. And so it is really a true joy to call up Raquel to Torah for the first time, saying, Ta'amod, Ta'amod, Raquel bat Yoel v'Sara sha'alta l'Torah aliyah rishonah.
My bat mitzvah was meant to be during the festival of Sukkot, but sadly before my bat mitzvah I got COVID and I had to reschedule the whole thing. The Torah portion that I'm reading this morning tells us about Sukkot and how it's meant to be celebrated. Sukkot lasts for 7 days, and during this festival we build a sukkah. A sukkah is a temporary hut-like structure in which we eat food and sleep in during Sukkot. Sukkot reminds us of the 40 years the Jewish people spent in the desert in the promised land after escaping slavery in Egypt. Although it has already been, Sukkot teaches us to be grateful for the things we have. Sleeping in a sukkah is definitely not as nice as sleeping in my bed. You're not meant to sleep on a nice bed with pillows, so it's definitely more uncomfortable. Being uncomfortable for the week of Sukkot helps to remind us that we should be grateful that we have a bed to rest in. The lessons we learn over Sukkot are relevant all throughout the year. There are many people who do not have beds to sleep in, people in poor countries and refugees from countries like Afghanistan. My Torah portion is still relevant to us today because it teaches us that it is important to be grateful for what we have and to realize that some people are not as fortunate as us and may not live in the same type of homes and have the same type of freedoms. Even though it's not Sukkot now, we still care about people who aren't lucky enough to have what we have. My portion helps all of us to remember and appreciate the freedoms and advantages that we have in our life and not take them for granted. We should all learn to appreciate our homes and give back to people who are not as fortunate as us. Next week is Mitzvah week, where you're encouraged to do some good deeds for other people. So even if we can't provide everyone with a home to sleep in, we are able to help by cooking food to give to people who need a warm meal, fundraising by setting yourself a challenge, or donating some of our extra clothes to people who do not have clothes to wear. Baruch hu et Adonai hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai hamavorach leolam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hamavorach leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher b'chabani mikol hamim v'atan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
So if you remember, we had the seam, and it would have been there so great. Okay.
If you want to follow what Raquel's reading, there was a little sheet in your booklet, or you can find it on the website. She's reading from Deuteronomy 16, verses 13 to 15.
Hag HaSukkot taseh lecha shivat yamim ba'oz bacha מגורנך ומעקבך, ושמעת בחרגך, אתה ובנך ובתך, ועבדך ואמתך, וחלוי וחגר, וחיתום, וכל מנה אשר בשעריך. 7 ימים תחוג לאדוני אלוהיך, במקום אשר יבחר אדוני, כי יברכך אדוני אלוהיך בכל תבואתך ובכל מעשה ידיך, וחיית שמח. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת, וחיי עולם נטע בתוכנו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
Amen. Yasha Koach. So we are going to invite Ariella back to come and dress the Torah scroll as we put it away temporarily before passing it down through the generations. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Kol hanshama tahalel Yah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Kol hanshama tahalel Yah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Kol hanshama tahalel Yah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Kol hanshama tahalel Yah, hallelujah, hallelujah. So I invite you all to rise as Joe lifts up our Torah scroll, and as we invite up Raquel's grandma, who's here from South Africa, which is an incredible thing that she's been able to be here. And we're going to pass this Torah scroll down through Raquel's family to Raquel. And Ariella's standing there waiting for her turn because next it will be her. And then Raquel's going to share with you a prayer that she's written to mark this occasion.
Done.
I feel strongly connected to a community. I'm very proud to be Jewish. It's welcoming and it brings happiness into my life. I like being able to have lots of options, such as choosing how religious to be while still having the opportunity to read Torah and other texts. It gives me a choice for who I want to be. I want to become a Jewish woman. I want to feel responsible and mature. I hope it will make me feel more a part of everything in this community. Knowing that I can speak Hebrew to the congregation and take on this role of reading to the community is a part of that process. Over the past year, I've lost a lot of what I used to know, but now it feels like an exciting, fresh perspective to connect with the Torah and understand it more. I've been leading up to this day to feel a sense of pride in myself in this accomplishment. Even if you did not understand my Torah reading, I'm still proud that I could read it to you. Both of my parents had bar and bat mitzvahs, and I want to follow in their footsteps and make them proud. We have a strong sense of Jewish identity as a family. Every interaction with shul has a big impact on my sense of self. My grandpa really wanted me to do this. He showed me all his childhood Jewish learnings, and it helped me a lot to understand and take an interest in my heritage. As a Jewish adult, I want to be kind and respectful to everyone. As I grow older, I want to welcome other children and adults to the community, helping them to feel valued. We should love everyone for who they are. Amen.
Amen. With that beautiful prayer, the beautiful start in your Jewish adulthood, we give the Torah scroll back to your dad, who's going to return it to its temporary ark as we sing on page 26. Es chaim hi lamachazikim ba v'tomecheha meusha daracheha tachinoam v'chom netivoteha shalom hashivenu Adonai elecha v'nashuva Chadesh Yameinu Chadesh Yameinu Chadesh Yameinu Kedem. And I invite you all to take your seats, except for Raquel, because I have the great privilege of giving you a blessing this morning on behalf of your community. Misha berach avotenu Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov, ve'imotenu Sarah Rivka Rachel v'Leah, hu yivarech et bat hamitzvah Raquel bat Yoel v'Sarah she'alta l'Torah. May the one who blessed our ancestors Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless you, Raquel, who having reached the age of bat mitzvah, has read Torah for your community, your family, and your friends for the very first time. Raquel, you are the sweetest young lady with a heart of gold. Every lesson we had together was joyful, with a smile that lit up a Zoom screen and a gentle and caring nature. Midrash says, to be in the company of a good person is like going into a perfume shop. You may not buy a thing, but the sweet scent will cling to you all day. And for those who have the pleasure of getting to spend time with you, I think they will know that this is true. With that heart of gold, you proudly told me that for your bat mitzvah today, you have chosen to twin your special day with a girl who was not able to have a bat mitzvah. Rachel Waters, who was born in Czechoslovakia, was deported to Auschwitz and murdered at just 12 years old. As you mark your bat mitzvah today, you do so for her too, and for all the people who went before you, those who were not able to celebrate their heritage that you are so proud of today. Despite an initial hesitance, or maybe a preference to do an interpretive dance than read from Torah, you have managed to overcome your fears and chant for us beautifully today in a service that feels just so Raquel, surrounded by your closest family and friends, something that I know is so important to you. There will be lots of moments in your life that feel like a challenge. There will be times when it will feel as if there is an easier path to take. But you have proven today that you can overcome every challenge in your path if you are willing to work hard and persevere. You will always have the support of your family and more widely your community here at Alith and the community you create for yourself at other places. And most importantly, you will always have an inner strength, something that you might not always fear, but it's always there. May this be the beginning of an exciting path into your Jewish adulthood. May you try the things that feel hard and allow them to become challenges in which you become invested. May they inspire you to push yourself outside of your comfort zone, just as you have done today. And may you always believe in yourself, knowing that when you put your mind to something, you will be able to achieve it, and that your community, your family, and your friends will support you along every step of the way. And let us say, Amen. I'm going to invite you all to rise with me as we say a Shechechianu to mark this occasion. Baruch Ata Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Shechechianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. You can go sit down. Well, but actually stay standing, but there. We are going to conclude our service on page 27. And then we are going to invite everyone at home in South Africa to unmute to wish Raquel Mazel Tov. So let's conclude our service so that we can all be together in this room. Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon hakol, la'atei gedulah liot sebereshit, asher bacha banu mikol ha'amim, v'nahatan lanu et torato, v'anachnu korim, umishtachavim umodim, lifnei melech malchei hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Shehu notei shamayim ve'yosed haaretz, u'moshav yikaro b'shamayim mimahal, u'shchinati zo, b'kofei meromim, Hu Eloheinu einot, emet malkeinu efes ilhato, kakativ betorato, v'yadata hayom v'hashavota el levavecha, ki Adonai hu ha'Elohim, b'shamayim imahal, v'hal haaretz mitachat einot. Al kein nekavelecha Adonai Eloheinu, lirot mehera b'tiferet uzecha, laha'aveh gilulim min haaretz, v'ha'elilim karot yikaretun, letaken olam b'malchut shaddai, v'chol b'nei v'asa yikru v'shmecha, lahavnot elecha kol rishei aretz, Yakiru v'yedu kol yoshvei tevel, ki shutafim kulanu b'tikun olamecha, ki hamalchut shalcha hi, u'le'ol me'ad timloch b'chavod, ka'katuv b'toratecha, Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed. V'nemar v'haya Adonai le'melech al kol ha'aretz, bayom hahu, yihye Adonai echad, u'shemo echad. Even in our most joyful of moments, there are times when we take a step back to think about those who are no longer with us, those who would have been so proud of Raquel in this moment, who would have loved to have been here and see her continue the legacy in which she was born. And so we take a moment to think of all those we miss at this time, and together, as a community of mourners, say Kaddish, thinking of those no longer with us. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, Bi'alma divra chirute v'yamlich malchute, b'chayachon u'v'yomechon, u'v'chaye dichol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'vizman kariv v'imru, Amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mevarach le'olam u'lamei almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitroman v'yitnaseh v'yitada v'yitale v'yithalal shemei di kudesha berichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nechamata diamiran ba'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol ha'olam v'imru. Amen. Yahaseh shalom, Yahaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yahaseh shalom, Yahaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. So all that's left for us to do this morning is to wish Raquel a massive mazel tov. You did incredibly this morning. Everyone at home, we're going to give you a chance to unmute yourselves now. And Raquel, if you come stand back by this microphone, they'll be able to hear you as well. Shabbat shalom, everyone, and we hope you have a lovely time celebrating.
Mazel tov, Kelly.
Mazel tov.
Mazel tov.
Mazel tov.
Mazel
Mazel
tov. Mazel
tov.
tov and Simon tov. Simon tov. Mazel tov. Mazel tov.
Mazel tov and Mazel tov and
Mila.
Simon tov and Mazel tov and Mazel tov and Simon tov. Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Shol Hom Israel.
Happy birthday to you.
Hello, Lolo.
You all, hi guys.
Hello, Silverman family. Hello, Yates family.
Mazel tov, my
Hello.
baby. So proud of you.
Wonderful.
I'm
Mazel
so
tov,
proud, my
Katie.
baby.
Mazel tov, guys.
Thank you so much.
Mazel tov.
Mazel tov, my darling. You were beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely lovely.
Well
Where's
done,
the
Carol.
whiskey? Where's the
Thank you.
whiskey?
Yeah, Joel,
Johnny, have a whiskey.
Joel, have a double.
Great. You got a little tiki blonde there.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Hello,
Shorty.
Don't be snot.
Roberto.
Hi, Rob and Susie.
We are good.
Thank you. Hello
Hello,
guys.
Gigi.
Deirdre, your baby's growing up. You're big. Look at her.
Hi,
As all of you heard, she gets her voice from me.
Make it.
Definitely, Jody.
Hello, everybody.
Who's that?
Mariela,
And
other camera.
Little Sammy, look there, Sammy.
it's Mila.
Hello, Sam.
It's Lucy. And Mila.
Hello, Reese.
It's Mila.
There's little pumpkin
Hi, Jax.
pie.
Little Neve.
Quick.
There you go.
He's been good this whole time.
That's baby Jess. Hello, Bob. Doing high heels. Go.
Hi, you, Jeff, Adrian.
They can hear you.
Second.
Mila.
Ibsy.
Mark, Barbara, Gareth.
They unmuted me.
Mom, Dad, I want to talk to you.
You're going to go find Mila now. Pick your nose.
No, he's not. He's just scratching. Hello,
I can't
Ian.
Mazel
What's for lunch? Cakes and lovely. That doesn't come and move. Oh, she's yawning.
Hi everyone.
Hi.
So you can hear her, but you can't hear me.
Hello.
You can hear her, but you can't hear me. Yeah, because your voice is so.
That's my little ho-ho.
I love Grace.